Prime Minister. And that was how we had our cameras on the ground, ladies and gentlemen, to capture the moments when the Prime Minister touched down Bamenda. And of course, Staffman Summer Wesley was also part of those who were at Matazem earlier today to welcome the Prime Minister. And in his own words, he has this to say regarding how exactly he perceived the atmosphere during the Prime Minister's touchdown. He is speaking in Pidgin English.
All right, Coach Bob, now come good with the disciples Santa for inside matters with Prime Minister. I said, we don't reach for inside Bamenda here. I'm going to say the work and for confirming number 3 work away. He shows say, he come to see what the team will be Giam, like Mandia, say the job inside Bamenda. But the kid away come and now, how far they want the long go. They can work for the Bamenda Baba Joe. How far you don't go, you will come. You will look through stadium where people have been who play stadium. So that people for Bamenda for the enjoy football. What else would have seen a million back because of this crisis? We don't start raising the rest and Southwest. So people have raised and done no way fine, but about the race, we can do it. Not so that few political party then. And then with you, we look the situation, the security inside the rest. As you welcome the people of matters in here, all in they find, we don't see them, they don't welcome me. And all in the work of fine, we don't have inside town as the Prime Minister said, because the work of look into them, or the update on the inside podcast, how the Palaba,
Thank you so much, Summer Wesley, for capturing the moment upon the arrival of Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute in Bamenda earlier today, ahead of his 3 days of visit. Now, on to something else. Cameroon has been ranked the 40th least peaceful country in Africa and occupies the 137th position on a global scale. This classification is found on the Global Peace Index for 2025. Let's get details in this report.
Speaking regions, insecurity in the far. The 2025 Global Peace Index has ranked Cameroon as the 40th out of the 50 African countries assessed, and the country also occupies the 137th position globally out of the 163 nations on the chart. This classification is based on 3 domains of peacefulness, notably ongoing domestic and international conflict, societal safety and security, as well as military. These domains comprise of 23 indicators that are used to assess the absence of violence or the fear of violence. This low ranking places Cameroon amongst the continent's least peaceful nations amidst continued conflict in the English-speaking regions, insecurity in the far north region, and the rising political tensions across the country. Topping the continent once again is Mauritius, which is ranked first in Africa and the 26th in the world, a position it has maintained for an impressive 18 consecutive years, while Sudan is ranked the least peaceful country in Africa, occupying the 50th position and the 161st position globally. The Global Peace Index also reveals that the world has become less peaceful for the 6th year in a row, with 78 countries experiencing a decline in peace due to increasing conflicts and rising military expeditions. For Cameroon, this findings signal an urgent need to strengthen governance, build inclusive institutions, and tackle the root causes of conflicts.
Well, we hope that Cameroon does better. Now, on to our human interest page. An old man of a Canadian nationality has been discovered in the state of decomposition in Kribi at his home residence. Of course, that was where he was residing with his Cameroonian partner. Let's get details in this report compiled by staff lady Ngashi Sharon.
The lifeless body of a Canadian expatriate whose name was gotten as Guy de Montini has been discovered in an early state of decomposition in Kribi. The man in his 80s had reportedly been cohabiting with a Cameroonian partner. Facing financial hardship, she is said to have traveled to Yaoundé in search of assistance to support his medical care. It was during this period of isolation, without care or support, that her early man is believed to have died. Neighbors raised the alarm after being disturbed by a persistent foul odor coming from the residents. Local authorities responded to the alert and confirmed the death. The body has been rushed to the nearby mortuary in Kribi. Our heartfelt condolences to his partner and the family of Guy de Montini in Canada.
And now we take you over to the southwest region of Cameroon, where a young lady has lost her life in Mondemba, in the southwest region of Cameroon, this Thursday, July 3, 2025, at about 9 a.m. According to local sources present at the scene, she was one of those traveling by sea to Nigeria, but unfortunately, her life was cut short after a confrontation between Cameroonian security forces and bandits, resulting in a boat capsize during which she drowned. All efforts to rescue her were futile, as only her corpse was recovered. She had no identification documents on her, given that her belongings also drowned, so little is known about her. The team on ground is therefore urging the public to share this information to the widest audience so that her family members and loved ones can reach out to identify her. May her soul rest in peace. And also on this update about the two sisters who perished in an accident in Limbe, the update reaching the studio of ABAKWA television is that they have been buried as at now, today, the 3rd of July, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, be reminded that the two sisters tragically lost their lives in a road accident, after which the commercial bike driver also died following the accident. Yes, that happened in Limbe, the southwest region of Cameroon. May their souls continue to rest in peace. And now let's talk climate change, as the National Observatory on Climate Change, ONAC, has warned against serious climate changes, especially extreme weather conditions, which are expected to hit different regions in Cameroon within the period of July 1 to 10, 2025. Let's get details of their bulletin in this report.
Cameroon's National Observatory on Climate Change, ONAC, has raised concerns about the rising environmental risks across Cameroon, with flooding, landslides, thunderstorms, and violent winds expected to affect multiple regions between July 1 to 10, 2025. Flooding remains a major concern in parts of the southwest, littoral, northwest, and the far north regions, while towns like Boya, Limbe, Douala, Bamenda, and Marua are expected to experience intense rainfall and drainage challenges with high chances of flash floods. Landslides are also likely to hit physical fragile zones in the northwest, southwest, littoral, and west regions of the country. Areas such as Oku, Menji, Nkonsamba, and Fontem have been identified as high-risk zones, particularly during heavy downpours, especially between July and October. Thunderstorms and lightning are projected to hit most of the Adamawa Center, Littoral, and North regions due to intense warm air that is rising and mixing with cold air. Meantime, violent winds with speeds reaching over 25 kilometers per hour are predicted to be more intense in the far north and northern regions. ONAC thus warns that these could cause widespread destruction if adequate precautions are not taken. The key determinants ONAC says include prolonged rains, intense short-duration rainfall, and atmospheric turbulence. The local population, especially those in affected regions, are thus urged to stay alert and adhere to local weather advisories in order not to fall victim to the effects of the changing weather conditions.
If you are just joining us, you are on to the primetime newscast on ABAKWA television this 3rd day of July 2025. Now let's travel out of the country to make our first stop in the United States of America, where the President of America, Donald Trump, is set to welcome leaders from 5 different African countries, notably Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, at the White House on July 9, 2025 to explore commercial opportunities. Details with staff lady Miniam Sibel.
A White House official noted that the meeting aims to foster mutually beneficial relationships between the U.S. and African countries. This gathering is part of a broader initiative by the Trump administration, which plans to hold a summit for the 5 nations from July 9 to 11. While the administration has cut significant foreign aid to Africa, focusing instead on trade and investment, it aims to drive economic growth for both American and African partners. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized a shift away from a charity-based aid model, indicating support will now favor nations that demonstrate self-sufficiency. Additionally, U.S. envoys in Africa will be evaluated based on commercial agreements made, marking a new strategic direction for American engagement on the continent.
And away from foreign news, let's talk sport on this newscast. The first ever modern football stadium in Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon, would be inaugurated over the weekend by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute. Our sports reporter Fabrice Dinga has details in this report.
At last, it is the dawn of a new era for football in the northwest region of Cameroon, as the Ntafi Proximity Stadium in Bamenda is being inaugurated by the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute, this weekend. This is the first ever modern football stadium in Bamenda, which has contributed enormously to the growth and development of the king sport in Cameroon. Constructed at Ntafi, a locality in the Bamenda 1 subdivision, the over 200 seats Proximity Stadium is being celebrated by the football-loving population of the northwest region. It should be noted that the project was sponsored with funds from the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the northwest and southwest region in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program. The Ntafi Proximity Stadium constitutes of a dressing room, a tribune, a parking lot, a fence, and a synthetic turf of international dimension. In the past 4 years, we record that 80 clubs in the northwest region have been playing home matches far away from home in towns like Bafoussam and Buda. This has, however, affected the club's revenue and fans who could not watch their darling team at the comfort of their homes. After Saturday's official commissioning by the Head of Government, Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute, matches will no longer be played on sandy pitches in Bamenda, but all Elite 1, 2 and Regional League games will be played in a modern stadium, as Ntafi will become the new football temple in Bamenda.
And still in sport, the world of football is in tears as Liverpool and Portugal's prominent footballer has died in a car accident alongside his brother barely 2 weeks after his wedding. Ngashi Sharon has details.
The football world is in deep shock as Liverpool and Portugal forward Diogo Jota, aged 28, tragically dies in a car crash in Spain just 2 weeks after his wedding. The accident occurred on the A52 motorway in Zamora, near Palacios de Sanabria. Jota was pronounced dead at the scene, alongside his brother Andre, aged 26, who was also a professional footballer. The heartbreaking news comes after what should have been the happiest moment of his life, leaving fans, teammates, and the football family in tears and mourning. He left behind his wife and 3 children to mourn him. Rest in peace, Diongo Jota and Andre.
And it's on this note, ladies and gentlemen, that we have come to the end of the primetime newscast on ABAKWA Television this 3rd day of July 2025. Thanks for watching. Contributions came in from the entire news desk of ABAKWA Television English News Desk. And of course, the news was produced by David Bautrek and supervised by the station's director, King Wills, at the anchor. I am Nabe Naivona, thanking you for watching and urging you to stay in the company of more programs on ABAKWA Television. We will be back tomorrow with what's making news within and beyond the country. Meantime, good night.